Hello, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this workshop on this week of International Yoga Day. The workshop is called which is Your Excellence, Aspiration, and Resilience. And we hope in the next hour or so, we take you through the relevance of, the tradition of yoga that, the rich culture and the heritage of yoga that we have in India for years. We hope to take you through how it is relevant today in our day-to-day professional life, in our corporate life. And joining us today is Mr. Subramaniam Sankaran. Hi, Subbu. Good evening. Namaste.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Namaste.
Yes. And he's a seasoned leadership coach. He's a seasoned management and financial professional. In fact, he's coached hundreds of people, conducted workshops on leadership, innovation, strategy, you name it. I've attended a few of his workshops and I completely love being a part of them. It enriches me in a lot of ways. And today, hopefully, he'll, by the end of it, he'll take us through this workshop, how it is going to help us in building our resilience in today's time, which is, of utmost need, and how we can continue to excel, continue to perform at our best with the help of yoga. So over to you, Subbu.
Thank you. Thank you, Priya. It is indeed a pleasure and I would say a privilege as well to join the audience this evening. And this is under the aegis of the International Yoga Day, though it is a couple of days past the day. I would venture to say that it is not enough to celebrate yoga on just one day. It's a symbolic celebration, but I would say yoga is a celebration which has to go 365 days of a year. And that's the reason the acronym year is so relevant for us, that this is something that we need to look at as a lifelong practice, which enhances your excellence, your aspiration, and your resilience. So I would like to first of all ask you to reflect on what yoga means to you. Just capture the first thought that comes to you and put it on the chat box. And then Priya, you can just share what comes up from the audience. Very quickly, one word, one line. What does yoga mean to you? The chat box is on, Priya?
Yes, sir. So the chat box is
even I can see it. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. So Shriram is saying fitness.
Okay.
Yoga means fitness to him.
Excellent.
Shriram is saying fitness. Yeah. Somebody's saying union.
Yeah. Very good.
Wonderful. Yoga means to connect or togetherness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There are more comments on yoga meaning union to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, that's what first comes as a first word recall. Yoga is union, and we are going to explore today what this is in a little depth. It's too vast a subject to be covered in a short 1 hour session, and our intention is not to get into the theory of yoga, and it has taken years, if not decades, for many to figure out maybe a little scratch the surface when it comes to understanding yoga in its entirety. So we will stick to what we know best, which is in giving an experience, the heartfulness experience, which takes some of the key elements of yoga and has woven it into a very simple tapestry of core practices that enables us to achieve this excellence, look at the aspirations, and how to become more resilient in today's world. I will try and avoid using this dreaded 5-letter word that has been going around for the last 4 months as much as possible. So we will stick to the positives today and look at how yoga is such a positive influence in our lives. So taking off from where you mentioned that yoga is yoga, and It is about fitness. It means a lot to many people. So let's look at the core idea behind yoga. It is, in its original intent, is refers to a state as well as a path or a practice. So the Sanskrit word, the root, is yuj, or the state of union between the man and the divine within. So we all have the, as much as what you see of the creator outside, we have the part of the creator within us. The divinity outside, the part of the divinity is within us. So yoga, yuj, is the state of union between man and divine. That's the aspirational goal for every human being, to become one with that divine within us. The other aspect of yoga is also about the practice, which enables us to regulate or settle the activities of the mind. Patanjali, who is the father of Ashtanga Yoga, talks about Chitta Vritti Nirodha, or which is nothing but practices which enable us to channelize the activities of the mind. So two things in yoga which stands out is achieving a state of union with our highest potential. So when you talk about divinity, it's about the highest possible potential, and about certain practices which enables us to settle the activities of our mind. Right? There are two larger definitions. And if you look at an expansion on this whole idea, there are two things that emerges from it. It is when you are in that state of union, and when you are in the regulated state of mind, one can feel as well as one can perform at their very best. So what is it about feeling at one's best is described best in a very simple three words, which is samatvam yoga uchyate, or it's achieving a state of balance or equanimity. A simplest in a corporate word is poise. How can I be in a state of poise? And that is by just exploring the space that we have between every stimulus that comes to us and the responses that we choose to give to those stimulus. So it is about ability to balance the way I respond to every situation that comes my way. And the second aspect of performance is about how can I be skilled in my actions? How can I be excellent in everything that I do? Again, the Sanskrit description of that is yoga karmasu kaushalam. So it's not about just doing things good, it's about doing it great. And it is about achieving a state of what is currently in today's parlance called the flow. So there have been a lot of articles written, recent science research on the idea of what is flow. How is that somebody is able to do very well, and they feel and they perform at their very best in specific moments of time. So there is this book called Flow and Creativity by the author Mihaly, where he talks about when you look at people who have won the Olympic medal, who have discovered something, who have had this special eureka moments, moments where there have been specific inspirations. They've come out with their best efforts, whether it's writing a book, best movie, best composition, best music. It's about them having achieved this perfect balance where you're at your best, you feel at your best, and perform at your best. Now, how do we achieve this and make this a way of life rather than waiting for only those specific, what you call moments of sparks? We want this to be eternal flow. How do I do that? So for that, we need to understand all the research that has gone into making yoga what it is today. So don't get daunted by this particular screenshot. This is nothing but a schematic representative of how one can develop, how the human being can develop using an integrated part of the yogic methods. So while this may look like your mission, vision, and strategic objective statement that typically most corporates will put on screen in the very first instance, rest assured that it's not going to be as complicated as that. We are going to only touch and let you know the sheer genius of the saints, the sages who have developed this method. Just imagine this thing has been developed in the year 200 or 220 BC. So we're talking about a system which is 2,200 years old. And it is relevant today. And it'll be relevant tomorrow and in the decades and the centuries ahead. That's a guarantee. Because this is not coming from external inspiration. It is coming from internal explorations by the saints. And the strange thing is that these yogic practices are a science which these sages have come up with. Today, science is discovering yoga. Yoga already discovered science. It was a very inclusive method. Whatever they did, it was experiential. It was something that they experienced and they captured it into a discipline. Where did the experience happen? It happened internally. It is in their highest level of inspiration that they were able to experience it. So today science is saying it is possible. So I would recommend you all, when you're done with this program, to go and check out on YouTube a particular set of programs called Hiranyagarbha, the heartfulness practice and quantum mechanics and quantum physics. That's the theme. So for those who are scientifically inclined, who want to explore the science behind all these that we are going to share today, you can go into this particular YouTube set of videos, about 4 or 5 videos, which talks about the connection between heartfulness meditation practices and yogic practices and quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Anyway, moving on. So this particular schematic of human development is a genuine breakthrough, and it has got several components to it. So you can see the broad components are 4, which is viveka, which is about discernment. Discernment of what? Discernment between right and wrong, less and more, what is correct, what is not correct, what do I need for my life, what is that matters most to me. This is simple discernment, making choices. Vairagya is about detachment. It's about giving up. Shat Sampati is, as the word suggests, Shat is 6, Sampati is attainments or wealth. So it is about 6 different spiritual attainment methods. And the final one is Mumukshutva, which is about finally reaching a state where you're seeking the liberation from this worldly existence. Within that, there are multiple paths. So we are going to focus on the Shat Sampati, because that's where Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali emerges as a very strong and a very simple method of doing everything in a composite manner. So under Shat Sampati, there are 6 different ways for spiritual attainment. One is Shama, which is focusing on molding or regulation of the mind. And Dhamma is control of senses, which is an automatic output when we start fixing goal on something beyond the ordinary. When we fix goal on reality as in understanding what is this divinity within us and seeking to become that divine. Then we have Uparati, which is about withdrawing our senses, becoming free of desires. And it is slightly different from Vairagya in the sense that this is neither are you looking for anything higher, nor are you putting away anything which is lower. So you're completely indifferent to what is happening to you because you're completely free of any kind of desires. Titiksha is a state of fortitude. It's a state of, I would call, total concern and satisfaction. It's about contentment. So in corporate parlance, we can say this is a state of where you're able to withstand any highs and lows in your life. It's resilience, right? And Shraddha is about devotion with faith. It is about, you can say, it's a state of discipline. It's about having faith that is backed by a certain fervor, right? And Samadhi is, of course, the state of being settled. It's settledness in the self-settledness in the goal, which is, in a simple English, we say it's centeredness, that you're internally always connected, you're always at peace, in balance. Now, if you were to take what has happened is that Saint Patanjali said, let us give a simplistic tool, just taking one anga, one part of this entire Shat Sampati, which is on the Shama, which is saying that if we were to focus on how I can regulate my mind, that in itself is enough for the common man to attain this state of liberation in the current lifetime itself. So he broke this into 8 different steps, 8 limbs, which is what is called Ashtanga. Ashtanga. So it's 8 limbs of yoga. So it starts with Yama, which is about good conduct. It's all about setting certain ethical standards of living, focusing on integrity. And integrity, I always love to share this particular definition of integrity, because when I discovered it, I was simply blown away by this simplicity of this definition. Integrity, the root word is integer. Integer is a number that can be divided by itself, only by itself. So that's what we talk about, somebody who's integrated, who cannot be divided except by himself or herself. So it's a life of integrity. Niyama is about having a certain regularity in doing things, having a certain self-discipline, and an ability to observe yourself at a spiritual from within as well as without. Then we have asanas, third step, which is all about taking care of the temple of the spirit, which is your body. So it's about attaining certain proficiency in the postures. So while it is focused on the physical, it's also got elements of breathing built into it, which again comes as the fourth step, which is pranayama. It's all about breath regulation. And interestingly, breath regulation is one of the most critical aspects that science is finally discovering way into the 21st century. It has never been part of the science focus in terms of wellness and health. Today, we hear a lot about the autonomous nervous system. We talk about the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems, how we can regulate our stresses just by changing the way we breathe. This is coming as science. The yogic masters had found this, we are talking millennia ago. Then we have the next step, which is the pratyahara, which is about inner withdrawal, where we stop being dictated by the external stimuli, the responses that we make through our sensory organs, through the external stimuli in terms of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, and more give attention to our inner stimuli. And then dharana, which is about achieving or looking at a single pointed focus at a mental level. So it's about ability to tour with all the noise and the chaos that is always at us. We are talking about 70,000 thoughts per day is what an average human being is supposed to be generating. The brain is supposed to be capable of generating. So imagine how much we are struggling to keep focus. And added to that, we have the media, different kinds of media, print media, social media. You have the audio, you have podcasts, you've got webcasts, you've got webinars, seminars, Zoom meetings, WhatsApp, you name it. All these are distractions. Our attention span is coming smaller and smaller. I'm sure all of you will agree with me. At least I suffer this many times, where I just look at the number of minutes that a video somebody has sent me, and I decide whether I should see it or not. That is what I am willing to now give in terms of attention to such videos and all that. So imagine how we are being conditioned by the way the stimulus is coming at us. So when you're looking at how can I increase my mental focus, it is by reducing the noise in some form or the other. So that is the dharana that we're talking about. And then, of course, it's dhyana, which it's not only about achieving focus, it's about making it effortless. It's about having the ability to hold a particular thought for an extended period of time effortlessly. So we do that in some form or the other on a daily basis. Here we are trying to make the focus of our meditation on the highest possibility, the highest potential, which is on the divinity within us. So that's what we'll be doing shortly. And when we do all these, the outcome is going to be samadhi, which is about being in balance with our original condition of purity, of positivity, and being completely integrated, right? And simple. So that is what this Ashtanga Yoga is about. So we want to see why is it still relevant to the modern corporate world. And that is why Heartfulness has adopted, further simplified. It is like, you're taken this large body of work, which was filtered down to a little comfortable cup by Saint Patanjali under the Ashtanga Yoga principles. And then from there, our masters from the Heartfulness practice, they said, can I make this even more simpler? Because if people have to go through all these 8 steps, they could be daunted by the sheer amount of work involved in this. There are people who take to it like ducks takes to water, but there could be people who will be daunted and say, can we simplify this? They said, where and how can I simplify this? And they found the answer by just saying that if we were to focus on the last 3 aspects, which is the dharana, mental focus through meditation, and then from there, the samadhi. Then what happens is we are reversing the order of priority by making us able to be focused and regulate our mind. We will be able to re-engineer ourselves in a way that it becomes very simple for us to then do the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara without feeling the pressure. So by starting at a much later stage, you're able to actually simplify and find it easier to do what was originally seen as the logical steps of the ladder. So again, unless you experience this, you may not find it, in a sense, believable. Saying, how can I jump, go up to that and then come down? For that, they actually run hand in hand. So this is an integrated system. I mean, in no way are we saying that by doing these three, you can skip the others. No, we are saying do this and then concurrently practice all the other aspects of the Ashtanga yoga, and you see the difference. How is this now relevant to the corporate world? Because in the corporate world, we have to not forget that your corporate existence is but just one small dimension of the larger multi-dimension part of the life that we all exist. So you have in a large framework, let us say there are 7 dimensions to your life. One is, of course, the physical dimension, all about your fitness. Your mental dimensions, all about mental health, the sharpness of intellect. Your social dimensions, all about relationships outside your family. Then you have the family, relationships with your family. Your career, which is your corporate and your whatever work that you're doing. Financial, your ability to lead a financially healthy life. And there is a 7th dimension, which is the dimension of the self, which is a spiritual dimension that this whole thing is trying to keep the focus on. So by focusing on the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, we are saying that if you focus on the core aspect of the multi-dimension aspect of your life, you will find it having a salutary impact on all other dimensions because they're all interlinked. You focus on yourself, focus on achieving the balance in yourself, and see how it has an impact on everything else, including your corporate world. So what happens when you practice yama? It is about developing better relationships at work. Niyama enables you to become more and more disciplined. It enables your execution. Asana, obviously, if you're practicing proper asanas, posture, a good fitness regime through yogic practices, your physical health is going to be very good. Pranayama is about breath regulation. Excuse me. It enables you to regulate, not only your breath is regulating your body, your mind, your emotions. So it has a huge impact on your emotional intelligence, which is emotional maturity, ability to manage your own emotions and others' emotions as well. Pratyahara, by inner withdrawal, you start understanding what really is your purpose, what's the meaning of life, what would you like to become, and not just about being. And then, of course, mental focus. It sharpens your ability to be focused on your work, avoid distractions. Dhyana enables you to become more inspired. Your responses to stimulus will become more heart-based and not just mind-based. And of course, through all these, you become more centered. Your working ability, your sharpness, your excellence, everything will stand out. So that's how you see the parallels in these practices in your day-to-day corporate work. Now, in heartfulness practice, I'm repeating, we have narrowed down our practices to cover the 3 aspects so that they will enable you to practice the others comfortably once you have mastered these. So what are these practices? We have 3 areas that we typically focus on. The largest one being on dhyana, which is on meditation. And we do a little bit on the pranayama side through the breathing exercise. And we do some limited asanas as well, because to achieve a good meditation, you need to have a good posture. You need to be able to sit comfortably. So there are some small practices that we do so that we are in a position to sit comfortably. So we will now look at actually practicing some, getting some experience on the things that we're talking about. So I would like to invite you to first do something around the pranayama. So the word pranayama is nothing but it's a very conscious and a deliberate regulation of the breathing. Most of us suffer from this common malady of shallow breathing. So we are very unconscious when it comes to breathing. Now we become very conscious. become very deliberate in this practice. And the very act of becoming consciousness helps you relax, right? So what it is, this particular practice is very, very foundational. Okay? It's fundamental to anything that we do in yoga. It's all about breathing. Everything that we do in yoga is about being aware of our breathing. And science, again, has come out with this discovery that breathing is what helps us manage our autonomous nervous system, which is nothing but the nervous system which enables us to respond to all the stimulus that comes with us. So when we have what we call the flight fight situation to any stimulus, where we are in fear and panic or any kind of stress, and this is very common today in daily life. You don't need to be seeing some major danger. Simple things like a call from irate customer, or a boss who is very upset, or a spouse or children, triggers some kind of anxiety, stress, and which we call as the amygdala hijack. It is the part of the brain which is conditioned to react. It just reacts, and reaction means all your entire body is taken over by these need to just get out of the system and get out of the situation. So when we do breathing, and in Sahaj, in our heartfulness system, we have simplified even the breathing to just one side breathing, which is called left nostril breathing. So a very simple exercise: whenever you feel stressed, whenever you feel anxious, whenever you feel I'm feeling helpless, and you feel the shortness of breath as well, and you want to normalize, you want to become calm, you want to become composed, move from the amygdala, move to this more cognitive prefrontal cortex, all you need to do is close your right nostril and do deep breathing for 10 times only through your left nostril. So may I invite you to do that as a first step. So just close your right nostril and inhale and exhale consciously, deeply, for 10 times. When you inhale, fill your entire respiratory system all the way to the bottom of your abdomen, to the tip of your nostril, with air, fresh air. Inhale, and when you exhale, every bit of air should be exhaled completely from your system. Do this 10 times. Just close your eyes and observe how are you feeling just by doing this very simple left nostril breathing. It's like an instant panacea, or a simple, like a quick fix anytime you are in an emotional or a very agitated state. And it has a huge impact on the quality of your decisions. Just before you're going to go into a very challenging, maybe a confrontational meeting where you know there's going to be a lot of conflict, just spend a couple of minutes normalizing. This is what you're doing is you're using your parasympathetic, your nervous system, to normalize yourself, calm down, slow down your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, just centering yourself, settling down. and there you are. You are ready to face the world. The other thing that we would recommend is, given the fact that you are always in mostly a sedentary kind of work, especially since we started working from home more and more, we sit a lot. We noticed that our working hours also gone beyond normal. When you were working at maybe a physical office, you had a chance to take breaks, walk out, go to take a tea break or have a chat break or whatever. Today, we tend to forget when we are sitting in front of a screen how much time has passed by. And what is happening is that every time you sit for periods of 30 minutes and more, you're dropping your metabolic rate to something very alarming. It's about 1/10 of your normal metabolic rate. So that means you can see what it's doing to your body. You're not burning anything. And we tend to eat and just come and sit in front of the computer and not realize that we are not helping matters. So we would recommend you doing some stationary chair asanas, very simple ones, so that you sort of revitalize your body even as you're sitting. You don't need to step away from your workplace. You could do this without any major adjustments. So a simple example, if you can follow with me, is a very, very easy one, which is about just lifting your arms, keeping it horizontal. You can do that with me. So when you lift your arms, you inhale. And exhale. Now you lift your arms and make it vertical with an inhalation. And lower your arms with an exhalation. You can do the same here. It's in the horizontal. Inhale. Exhale in the same place. Now we raise the arms and inhale. Exhale. As simple as that. You're just mobilizing your upper arms. You're mobilizing and bringing the oxygen back to the higher parts of the body. Otherwise, you're seated forever. So this is just a simple way of mobilizing your body, bringing up the metabolism rate. Next is, of course, we sit for long hours. Our stomach is in the same stationary position. We tend to put on weight in that place. So let's do something to mobilize that part as well. So here, all you need to do is lift your arms, inhale, and go down, exhale, and touch the floor without much effort. If you can't, it's okay, to the extent that possible. Just go down and touch the floor as you exhale. And then inhale and come back. Raise your arms again. Exhale and touch the floor. Inhale and back again. So these are just samples. You can do as many repetitions as you feel you are comfortable with, and depending on time availability. All you're doing is just mobilizing all the parts of the body. And another recommendation is that try and get up from your chair every 30 minutes or so. Just limber up, walk around, and if possible, stand and attend to your work. If you have a facility to just stand and keep your laptop within your eye range, do that for at least 15 to 20 minutes in intervals, so that your body, the circulation is not impaired. Because if you sit for long hours, it's not good for the health. So these are simple things, very simple things. The issue is you have to remember. So initially, it's all about remembering to do. And you may want to keep some kind of a tool like the Pomodoro, or even a simple alarm in your mobile that every 20 minutes or 30 minutes, it reminds you that you need to take a break, do a little asana, do a little pranayama, drink some water. These are simple lifestyle changes that you can do. And then, of course, comes the most important part, which we would like you to experience here, is the heartfulness meditation. And this is, I would say, our peace day resistance, where we say, If you do this, you're set for life. So, what is meditation? Most of you, I'm sure, understand meditation well. A very simple way of looking at meditation is to think of the same thing for a period of time. We're looking at meditation is not concentration, because concentration requires effort. So we want to eliminate this mixture that people do, that I cannot concentrate, so I cannot meditate. We say, please do meditation, which is nothing but effortless focus. So you should enjoy this meditation. And when you learn to meditate more and more, it becomes a natural process. And from there, concentration becomes a natural product from it. You become, the ability to concentrate becomes higher when you become more focused, and it is effortless. And while meditation applies to everything that we do, where we can hold a particular thought for a particular or an activity for a period of time, which is like reading a great novel, watching a very interesting movie or a documentary, or watching the sunrise, sunset with complete total attention, not being distracted by anything. What is important for us is, what are you meditating on? Because what you meditate on is what you become, is what our yogic masters have discovered. So why not meditate on something subtle, something that will make you truly in union with the divine? Because yoga is about union with the divine. Yoga is a practice that enables you to achieve a particular state of mind, to regulate your mind. It's a path. So in heartfulness, we meditate on the heart, right? And for that, we need to experience it. So I'm going to run you through a guided experience on the heartfulness meditation. So what I'm going to invite you to do now is to close your eyes and just follow my instructions into the meditation process. We'll take about 15 minutes for this, and then maybe close it with a cup of Q&A, and then the actual how this practice can be made a part of your daily practice is something that I will share once we're done with this. So please close your eyes. I'm going to run you through a set of instructions which will help you relax physically, and thereafter from there I'll draw you to meditation. In the heartfulness meditation practice, our objective of meditation is the heart. It is simply because heart is the center of our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual being. It is the core of the very idea of being human. It is the part of that of body which purifies the blood. As long as you're alive, the heart is beating, it's alive. When the heart stops, you're dead and gone. So it's a core of everything that is happening to the human being. And it is the temple of the soul. It is where our divine self resides. So we say the object of our meditation is our heart. So our refinement, our transformation, our ability to unite with the divine is all through focus on the heart. Now I invite you to just follow this set of instructions on relaxation. Draw attention to, please be seated in a way that you can maintain the posture without changing for this length of this meditation practice. Preferably with your back straight, head held high. Don't rest your head on anything. Keep it freestanding. Your feet firmly on the ground, arms on the armchair rest or on your thighs. Just draw attention to your feet and do a little visualization that a current of energy is flowing from the Mother Earth through the sole of your feet and moving gently through your feet, through your toes, upper part of your feet, relaxing and releasing all the tension as it flows gently. Courses up through your ankle, up through your calf muscles. Be aware of your breathing as this is happening. Just make it deep, make it slow, be conscious. Observe the stream flowing upwards relaxing all the muscles on its journey, loosening it, softening it. It now passes through your kneecap, courses upwards to your thigh muscles, releasing all the stress and tension, reaching up to your hips. Visualize the hips melting away, along with the stress and the tension. The current is flowing through the entire circle of the pelvic muscles, sphincter, lower back, releasing all the stress and the tension in this area. The current now is coursing through your abdominal muscles, the stomach, the entire chest area, relaxing all the organs, all the muscles, all the tissues, releasing all the stress, softening it. Continue to breathe consciously, deeply. Savor every breath. The current now flows over your shoulder, onto your back, relaxing the entire back muscles, all the way to the tip of your tailbone. Drop your shoulders, loosen your body completely. Observe the stream now flowing down both your arms, relaxing all the biceps, your elbow joints, your upper arms, your forearms, back of your palm, your palm. Some of that current of energy is oozing out of your fingertips, taking away with it all the stresses and tensions. Feel the lightness and relaxed state all the way from tip of the toe to the edge of your neck. Follow the current up through the neck muscles as it goes up, releasing your jaws, entire facial muscles, and all the parts on your face, your eyes, your nose, your lips, your chin, your cheek, forehead, ears, back of your head, and finally emerging out through the crown in your head. Gently scan from the top of the head till the tip of your toe. Looking for any blocks, any energy blocks, any niggles, any pains, stresses, any tension. And just suggest that that is being released through the top of your head as a wisp of smoke. Feel a state of complete relaxation, calming of your mind. Now draw attention to your physical heart. And gently make this suggestion that the source of divinity is already present in my heart as light. And it is drawing me inwards, like a vacuum, it is sucking me inwards. Don't look for a physical light, it's just the feeling of light. It is nothing but a representation of the divine. Meditate on this thought. When any other thought comes, just treat it as a passing cloud or an uninvited guest. Don't let that thought grab your attention. Just focus on this awareness that there is this divine light present in your heart. Let it be a joyful experience. Be unmindful for any thoughts that come. continue to meditate until I call out. That's all. Just continue to keep your eyes closed for a couple of moments. Observe your condition. Just feel the connectedness that you are feeling. State of calm, quiet. Explore that. See how you're feeling before you did the meditation and how are you feeling right now. What is your physical state, your mental state, emotional state, and your inner state? Forget that our body is made of multiple states. So there is an opportunity to integrate all of them through one action of meditation on a daily basis. You can open your eyes and just capture on the chat box a word to describe how you're feeling. What happened when you started meditation? Remember, this is just a small capsulized version of the meditation process. So we combine two core practices of relaxation and meditation. We do it for extended periods depending on your ability to do it over a period of time. So we did only about 15-20 minutes now, but we can definitely do more as you understand how this is to be done. It's like learning to swim. You initially just learn to float, you just learn to put your hand and leg, and over a period of time you become adept. You can swim laps effortlessly. It's the same in meditation. Today we just took you into the water, dipped you in, gave you a little taste. So some words, Priya, can you just share what the audience have shared in terms of their...
Yes. Just waiting for people to
Okay.
write in.
Yeah.
So, guys, you can just write in into the chat box, either on YouTube or Facebook, how you felt during the meditation. How are you feeling now when Subbu asked you to observe yourself? You can just type a few words.
Yeah, just one word each is good enough. Just to get a feel of how the session was.
Yes.
Even if you not have felt anything, that's okay.
Yeah.
Not that you have to have something. Just that felt nothing, it's fine. Because for many of us, this could be perhaps the first time that we're doing nothing. So that's a good achievement. I felt nothing. Good. That's a good achievement.
And we're not used to doing nothing. So
exactly.
So a few people are saying they felt calm, felt relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
I think we can touch upon what to do if you have too many thoughts during meditation.
Sure. So being calm, being relaxed, the very act of closing eyes brings that on us. But when you understand meditation, getting deeper into yourself, getting connected to the innermost core, which is also where our highest potential is all about, you will find that you will get more deeper insights into yourself. And what prevents us from this ability to meditate without any kind of disturbances? All these stimuli around us, all these noise, the chaos, various thoughts, various events continuously. And what is more important is that all these events, the responses that we give to those events, has it leaves a footprint, an emotional footprint. So there are two things. One is a memory of the event where you interacted in that event. And the second is the emotional footprint of that memory. So there are two things. The memory is the function of the mind, the brain, and the footprint, emotional footprint, is what is left on your heart. It's an impression. So these things tend to build over a period of time, and they are the ones that creates a certain grossness, a certain heaviness in us, and they have an ability to trigger a whole chain of thought process, which we are not able to control because we already seeded ourselves with those potential actions as a result of those footprints. So in the heartfulness meditation, we have the practices is four let us say four different ways of managing these challenges. So we have broken up into four aspects. One is the relaxation, which I just took you through. It is basically a simple 2-minute, 3-minute exercise which helps you remove the stress and anxiety to make you calm. This is also in addition to the breathing that we shared earlier this evening. Second is a detox. It's a mental detox, which enables you to remove these footprints, remove these emotional marks on you, and enables you to focus, brings clarity because you're reducing all these distractions from you. And that is what is a key to your performance and productivity. And of course, the fact is that this is to be done on a daily basis, removing the impact of everyday interactions that you have. You could have good, happy interactions. Sometimes it could be unpleasant. Doesn't matter. Basically, you're trying to keep yourself light and free and letting go so that you're free of these worries. You're not thinking about the history, nor are you thinking about the future, which you have no control over, and you live in the present. We keep often hearing about the now. So this now is achieved when you cleanse yourself on a regular basis, on a daily basis. That in a simple English, we call it rejuvenation. It's an emotional detox, and it invokes lightness. And in heartfulness meditation, the uniqueness, which is unique to the heartfulness methodology, is the transmission, which is how do I make my focus effortless is through the transmission of this divine energy from the source, which enables you to experience this balance, this inner transformation. It is like a support system. Otherwise, it will take you forever to achieve this sense of effortless focus. So transmission is something that comes from the source. It is like when you listen to a mobile phone, that is, you're listening to somebody's voice, able to see videos. Likewise, human beings are capable of transmitting energy and connectivity. So this, our masters have discovered, is the most effective way of enabling people to be on the journey of inner transformation in the shortest possible manner. Otherwise, it will take a lifetime, several lifetimes for that matter. So to make it simple, we use this transmission, and it's something that one cannot describe too much in words. It's more experiential, and that's what requires you to go through 3 introductory sittings of half hour each. So we invite you to try it out after the session, because today was more a broad understanding of how this whole Ashtanga yoga is codified, modified, capsulized in this heartfulness methodology. So whatever we're doing, the full credit of it is to Patanjali. There's no two ways about it. It's just that our masters, they discovered this lost art of transmission-based meditation. And they said this is something that will enable the modern man to be in the samskara, be in the world, be with the family, be in his business, be in his job, and still balance and live like a bird, which has got 2 wings, the material and the spiritual, and able to comfortably go through the journey of life, managing all the multiple dimensions. So the 4 core practices are relaxation, rejuvenation, meditation, and then finally, we have an inner connect, which is tuning into your heart on a daily basis. Just before you go to bed, it helps you unlock qualities which are inherent in us, but we never seek it out, which is on kindness, empathy, confidence, compassion, and the ability to think beyond ourselves, look at the universe, look at the brotherhood that we need to create, which will bring down all these conflicts, bring harmony into this world, which is sorely lacking today. There's so much conflict going on. So what can I do? I can pray. I can connect with myself and then try in that connection to reach out to the world outside me, because we are all connected. At the highest consciousness level, we are all connected to each other. So when I am transforming myself, I'm enabling the society around me to transform, and the country, and then there from the world and the universe. So these are the core practices of heartfulness, which we do on a daily basis. This entire 4 core practices will take about 60 minutes a day, and that's what is required. And how do we sustain this? Because it's all about compliance. So we have enabled a daily worldwide meditation. Typically on a weekdays, we keep it at 7 a.m. So all you need to do is just sit down in your home in the comfort of wherever you typically sit, and make sure that's your regular place of meditation, noise-free, disturbance-free, where you're able to maintain a simple posture and sit for about 20 to 40 minutes. And on Sundays, we have program meditation, group meditation at 9 a.m. And you can watch this on the YouTube on Heartfulness. It's a live program. So those connects can be found from the heartfulness.org website. And to enable you to do this on a daily basis, we have an app, which is called the Hearts app, which has the whole set of guided practices, the 3 introductory sittings, which are what we call as a master class, which has been conducted by our current guide. His name is Kamlesh Patel, and we fondly call him Daji. Very, very gently, the entire thing that we have shared in this short for 30-40 minute engagement, he does it in a systematic manner over 3 days, 3 sessions rather. So you could follow it over 3 days. And then we have also made it very easy for you to have access to a trainer for life by using this Hearts app, which is similar to the Uber app. So you can reach out to any trainer 24/7 across the world by just going into the app and connecting, and you will have a trainer giving you a meditation session over the phone. So we are trying to make it as simple and accessible to you, and all these is free of charge because there's no commercialization of meditation in our system. And we invite you to also challenge yourself, saying that let me try this for 90 days. Let's see how far I can keep this, sustain this, because this is a life-changing activity. It is not a one-off. It's not a cure. Heartfulness is not a cure. It's a way of life. It's something that will enable you to manage all dimensions of life for life. What are the other things that we do at work? We have some extended offerings. We do holistic wellness, which is a 12-week program, so 60 minutes a week. It's for professionals. And we have an executive program we call Leading with the Intelligent Heart. And it combines practice with neuroscience and leadership. That's a 10-week program. All these are 1 hour typically programs. And then we have an offsite. Currently, of course, we do this Kaushalam program, which is a retreat program for 1 to 2.5 days. We have some retreats across the country. It's a leadership development program. And currently we are doing this online. So there are multiple offerings that we have over and above the meditation practices. But for now, we would invite you to just practice this at your home and do this diligently for the 90 days and see what changes it brings about you. Maintain a journal, see what you see the transformation happening over this period of time. And reach out to us for any further information. We also recently introduced a daily meditation, which makes it easy for anybody to come in anytime, or rather every day they're in a position to meditate in a group to enable the synergy that comes from group meditation. It's Mondays to Fridays, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. You can go to these websites, this Facebook as well as YouTube. It'll be a live facilitated meditation session. It's largely just a meditation session, so you can just come, sit, close the eyes, watch the session, be connected through the tools here. We invite you to try that as well. And with that, I conclude the session from my side. Now I invite you for any questions and answers. We have got a few. I know we are slightly overrun, but I am available for those who would like to log off. You're welcome to do that. But for those who have questions, feel free to post those questions. Between Priya and me, we'll try to answer those to the best. Priya?
Yes. Yeah. While we are waiting for the questions, Subbu, I would like to thank you for this wonderful session. I think it's been enlightening in terms of bringing yoga back into the picture in terms of how it can actually, it's a complete package in terms of enriching our body, mind, and soul. And heartfulness is a sort of shortcut to bringing it all together. It's an integrated practice,
Yes.
which helps us to, all of us have these flashes of wisdom and flashes of enthusiasm, but this helps us to maintain that persistently and, consistently, perform at our peak and feel at our best.
Well said.
Thank you for taking us through this
My
experience
pleasure.
of
Thank you.
meditation. And for all those who are viewing, we have this channel live every day, as he said, between 4 and 4:30, to support the practice of meditation, rejuvenation, and connecting with ourselves. Because as he said, yoga is not for one international day of yoga; it's a lifestyle, and that requires a practical practice, so to say, every day. So this channel is live every day. Please do log in and inform your colleagues and friends also. I'll just have a look at what questions we've received. Give me a moment, please. So, suppose someone's asked, how does this actually help in addressing, does it help in addressing physical problems like, blood pressure, diabetes, etc., stress-related problems?
Sure. This is not intended to be a cure, but long-term practitioners have reported that yes, it normalizes their blood pressure quite distinctively. Does it reverse certain ailments? There have been cases, but we don't go around claiming that as the objective of meditation. Because if you notice, the meditation is one aspect of these yogic practices that we have adapted. So that is pranayama, that is some asanas. So if you make this as a holistic practice, then obviously you will see very, very salutary outcomes. So will only meditation enable you to achieve that? I would say not really, but it will guide you, because what happens is once you start meditating, once you start connecting with your inner self, you will get the voice of sanity, the voice of moderation, the voice of tempering down your lifestyle. It will tell you the choices to be made, because your heart is the best guide of what is right and wrong. You'll use your heart to regulate your temptations, which is the mind thing. So once you are able to control your diet, you control the amount of what kind of activities you indulge in, the reading, the watching, you'll see that automatically it is moderating the way you live your life. And all those ailments, lifestyle ailments, do get over a period of time normalized. Right. So I would say yes, but it requires dedicated practice. Right? And it requires you to touch on all the aspects. It cannot be that I just do meditation and everything will be taken care of. We don't offer this as a magic bullet. Right. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Subbu. So I think it somewhere relatively answers the other question that was there, that how do we find time? Because, we all leading lives, you're always running, so to say,
yes.
tasks. Yes. So how to find time for these, we've done one practice today, but how to find time to do this on a day-to-day basis? How can, any tips on that?
It's the most common question, because already we are stressed out. And if I tell them, hey, you need another 60 minutes to do meditation, all these 4 core practices, they're saying, are you kidding me? I'm already struggling with my 24 hours. You're asking me to find 25th hour. Surprisingly, what we have noticed, like we have all been long-term practitioners, the more we meditate, the less we seem to be in a state of shortage of time. Because what is happening is, as we start meditating more and more, it brings a lot of focus. It enables us to separate the chaff from the wheat. It helps us separate the noise from the real music. It helps us separate from the what matters most to what matters least. So I move and I work within my circle of control rather than working in my circle of concern, which is a lot of distractions. If you were to go and reflect, once you meditate well, you will be in a meditative state. And then in that meditative state, you'll automatically shun a lot of activities, a lot of responses, a lot of stimuli, which are not adding any value to you. That's an automatic outcome. You will not even notice it. But over a period of time, you will calm down. Your attention span becomes much more normal. You will start ignoring a lot of things which used to stimulate you, which used to trigger a series of actions and thinking in you. And You will be at peace with yourself, and in that state of peaceful, meditative, reflective state, you will make very, very wise choices on what to do and what not to do, what to think and what not to think. Especially in today's environment where there is a war looming large, there is a pandemic at large, there is so many doomsday predictions. How do I stay calm within myself? Because if I start responding to everything that's coming at me, I will be a broken person. So resilience is nothing but firstly choosing to look at the positives in my life and not just be taken up by the negatives and not be overwhelmed by all that is happening around me, because it's like being in the eye of the storm. I am calm. I'm in a state of complete peace, no matter what happens around me. Try it and see.
Thanks, Subbu. I think it makes, and I think it's for someone to experience, it to see how it actually works. So that's why the experiential, where there is practical demonstration of these changes in our lifestyle that we can perceive, rather than just knowing about them.
Yes.
So I think that's a good part. And I think we'll take one more question before we wind up for the day. And it's very practical, where someone's asking, what if we do it in office, and what will people think of me if I'm just sitting with closed eyes? What will people around me think? So
well, it depends on what kind of people are sitting around you, right? I mean, there are people who take a short nap, power nap in the office. Nobody sees it as wrong. In today's context, I don't think that you sitting in meditation is going to be taken amiss, because more and more corporates are actively seeking our help to spread this meditation as a very important tool in managing stress, anxiety, concern, and the state of imbalance that most of them are facing. We use this word loosely, work-life balance. So we say, oh, we'll balance not only the work life, we balance every dimension of your life just by sitting in meditation. And so when you're doing something that is so beneficial to you, I think you should not worry about what others think of it, because I would say that when they see the peace and calm and the way you behave thereafter, they would be tempted to follow you. This is what we have seen. But if you're able to reflect this, the inner condition outward in your behavior, in your choice of words, actions, and the way you respond to situations around you, it's only going to infect others. And it's a happy, positive infection, right? So let this be a contagion of compassion, of happiness, of joy, of bliss. And you should be happy to be the carrier.
Wonderful. I think that's a wonderful note to, conclude the session, that, when we are happy, we can spread it easily, which is the need of the hour today.
Yes. Yes.
So I thank you for taking us through this, and for everyone watching. This is the end of the session, but we'll continue the journey together. As he said, Heartfulness has a lot of avenues. You have a lot of avenues to connect with us through Heartfulness, through YouTube, through this channel, through the app, that is the Hearts app. And we'll keep in touch. We'll support you, and all the best for the journey forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.